The story of two worlds. In the city of Azura, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, two worlds existed side by side. One world was of opulence and extravagance, where mansions pierced the sky and streets were paved with gold. The other world was of poverty and despair, where shantytowns sprawled like a disease, and hope was a luxury few could afford. Ava lived in the world of poverty. She resided in a small, cramped apartment with her mother and younger brother. Her father had passed away when she was just a child, and her mother worked multiple jobs to make ends meet. Despite the struggles, Ava's mother instilled in her a love for learning and a determination to succeed. Ava's days were filled with the sounds of construction and the smells of street food. She navigated the narrow alleys and bustling streets with ease, dodging pedestrians and vendors as she made her way to school. Her teachers praised her intellect and encouraged her to pursue her dreams, but Ava knew the reality of her world. She saw how her friends were forced to drop out of school to work and support their families. She saw how the system was stacked against them, how the privileged few held all the power and the marginalized many were left to fight for scraps. One day, while Ava was running errands for her mother, she stumbled upon a flyer for a prestigious scholarship program. The program promised to provide full funding for talented students from underprivileged backgrounds to attend the city's most elite schools. Ava's heart skipped a beat as she read the eligibility criteria. She knew she had a chance. With the help of her teachers and community leaders, Ava applied for the scholarship. Weeks turned into months, and Ava's hopes began to dwindle. But then, on a sunny afternoon, she received an email inviting her to an interview. The interview took place in the heart of the opulent world, in a tower that seemed to touch the clouds. Ava was ushered into a room filled with polished wood and crystal chandeliers. The panel of interviewers looked her up and down, their faces a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Ava stood tall, her voice steady, and her words pouring out like a river. She spoke of her dreams, her struggles, and her determination to make a difference. Days turned into weeks, and Ava heard nothing. She tried to push the thought of rejection out of her mind, but it lingered like a shadow. Then, one morning, she received a letter. Her hands trembled as she opened the envelope. She had been accepted into the scholarship program. Ava's journey to the elite school was not easy. She faced challenges from her peers, who questioned her worthiness to be there. She faced challenges from her teachers, who expected her to fail. But Ava persevered. She worked hard, earning top grades and becoming a leader in her community. As Ava navigated the two worlds, she began to see the cracks in the system. She saw how the privileged few manipulated the rules to maintain their power. She saw how the marginalized many were silenced and ignored. But she also saw glimmers of hope. She saw how individuals could make a difference, how one person could stand up and challenge the status quo. Ava's story became a beacon of hope for her community. She inspired others to apply for the scholarship program, to fight for their rights, and to demand change. And as the years passed, the city of Azura began to transform. The walls between the two worlds began to crumble, and the privileged few began to listen to the voices of the marginalized many. The story of Ava and the city of Azura is a testament to the power of resilience and determination. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a better tomorrow. And it's a call to action, a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, to challenge the status quo, and to fight for a more just and equal society. As Ava's story spread, she became a symbol of hope for many in the city of Azura. She continued to excel in her studies, and her determination inspired others to pursue their own dreams. The scholarship program expanded, and more students from underprivileged backgrounds began to attend the elite schools. However, not everyone was pleased with the changes. Some of the privileged few saw Ava and her fellow scholarship recipients as a threat to their power and status. They began to spread rumors and lies about the program, claiming that it was unfair and that the students were undeserving. Ava faced backlash from some of her peers who accused her of being a token or a quota filler. But she refused to be deterred. She continued to speak out against injustice and advocate for the rights of marginalized communities. One day, Ava received an invitation to speak at a prominent conference on social justice. She was nervous but determined as she took the stage. Her words poured out like a river, inspiring and challenging the audience. "We are not just fighting for equality," Ava said. "We are fighting for justice. We are fighting for a world where every person has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances." The audience erupted into applause, and Ava's message resonated with many. She became a sought-after speaker and advocate, using her platform to raise awareness about social justice issues. As Ava's influence grew, she began to attract the attention of powerful individuals who were determined to silence her. But she refused to be intimidated. She continued to speak out, using her voice to amplify the messages of those who were often ignored. Ava's story is a testament to the power of courage and conviction. She proved that one person can make a difference, and that even in the face of adversity, it's possible to create positive change. The city of Azura continued to evolve, and Ava's message of hope and justice inspired a new generation of leaders. The walls between the two worlds began to crumble, and the city began to heal. Years later, Ava stood on the same stage where she had once spoken about social justice. This time, she was surrounded by a sea of faces, all of whom were committed to creating a more just and equal society. Ava smiled, knowing that her work was far from over, but also knowing that she was not alone. The story of Ava and the city of Azura is a reminder that social justice is a journey, not a destination. It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, and that together we can create a brighter future for all. As Ava looked out at the crowd, she felt a sense of pride and hope. She knew that there was still much work to be done, but she was heartened by the progress that had been made. The city of Azura was not perfect, but it was moving in the right direction. Ava's message of hope and justice had inspired a new generation of leaders. They were passionate, driven, and committed to creating a better world. Ava knew that she had played a role in shaping their values and ideals, and she felt a sense of pride and responsibility. As the conference came to a close, Ava took the stage one last time. She looked out at the crowd, her eyes shining with tears. "We have come a long way," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "But we still have so far to go. We must continue to push for justice, to fight for equality, and to stand up for what is right." The crowd erupted into applause, and Ava smiled. She knew that she had done everything she could to inspire and empower others. Now, it was up to them to carry the torch forward. As Ava stepped down from the stage, she was met with a sea of faces. There were people from all walks of life, from all parts of the city. They were united in their desire for a better world, and they were determined to make it happen. Ava's story had come full circle. She had started out as a young girl from a poor neighborhood, determined to make a difference. She had faced countless challenges and obstacles, but she had never given up. And now, she was a leader, a symbol of hope and inspiration for countless others. The city of Azura would never be the same again. Ava had changed it, and it had changed her. She had grown, learned, and evolved, and she had inspired others to do the same. As Ava walked out of the conference center, she felt a sense of peace. She knew that she had done everything she could, and that the future was bright. The city of Azura would continue to evolve, and Ava would continue to play a role in shaping its future. But for now, Ava was content to step back and let others take the lead. She had earned the right to rest, to reflect on her journey, and to enjoy the fruits of her labor. And as she walked out into the bright sunlight, she felt a sense of joy and fulfillment that she had never known before. The story of Ava and the city of Azura was one of hope and inspiration. It was a reminder that one person can make a difference, and that together we can create a brighter future for all. Ava's journey had been long and difficult, but it had been worth it. She had changed the world, and the world had changed her. Ava's life had changed in ways she never thought possible. She had become a leader, a voice for the voiceless, and a beacon of hope for those who felt marginalized and oppressed. But as she looked back on her journey, she realized that the city of Azura had changed her just as much as she had changed it. The city's streets once filled with fear and uncertainty, had become familiar and comforting. The people, once strangers, had become friends and allies. Ava had grown to love the city, with all its flaws and imperfections, and she knew that she would always carry a piece of it with her. As Ava walked through the city, she noticed the small changes that had taken place. The streets were cleaner, the parks were greener, and the people were smiling. The city was still imperfect, but it was moving in the right direction. Ava's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of children laughing and playing. She followed the sound to a nearby park, where she saw a group of kids playing tag. Ava smiled, remembering the countless hours she had spent playing in the same park as a child. As she watched the children, Ava felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had played a small part in making the city a better place for them, and she knew that they would grow up with opportunities she never had. Ava's reverie was interrupted by a young girl who approached her with a curious expression. "Excuse me," the girl said, looking up at Ava with wide eyes. "Are you Ava, the one who speaks out for justice?" Ava smiled, feeling a sense of humility. "That's me," she said, kneeling down to the girl's level. The girl nodded, her eyes shining with admiration. "I want to be just like you when I grow up," she said. "I want to make a difference in the world." Ava's heart swelled with emotion as she looked at the young girl. She saw herself in the girl's eyes, saw the same spark of determination and passion that had driven her to speak out for justice. "You can do it," Ava said, smiling. "You can make a difference, starting from wherever you are. Don't be afraid to speak out, to stand up for what you believe in. The world needs people like you, people who care and who want to make a difference." The girl nodded, her face set in determination. Ava watched as she ran off to join her friends, feeling a sense of hope and optimism. The future was bright, and it was in good hands. As Ava walked away from the park, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that she had done everything she could, and that the next generation was ready to take the reins. The city of Azura would continue to evolve, and Ava would always be a part of it. The story of Ava and the city of Azura was one of transformation and growth. Ava had changed the city, but the city had also changed her. She had grown, learned, and evolved, and she had inspired others to do the same. And as she walked off into the sunset, Ava knew that she would always carry the city with her, in her heart and in her spirit.